Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust, and if you hadn't realised already, Europe and the UK is currently going through a bit of a heatwave.
And we are slap bang in the middle of it in Spain. We've come to the Pyrenees. It is still averaging about 37 degrees every day, and we've still got a couple more days of these really high temperatures.
And what Jackie always likes to remind us is that we are actually living in a small tin can in Nelson, our VW Campervan. So in this video, what we wanted to do is share with you some of our top tips for staying cool in your campervan in the heat.
We've had loads of questions over the last few days asking how we're coping living in this little tin can.
So we've just moved on to a new campsite and we thought it was the ideal opportunity to do a little impromptu video to take you through the steps we take in setting up the van and when we're on the campsites in keeping cool, because it's already 35 degrees.
Now, we know that we have not got it perfect, and there's a few things that we perhaps could have brought with us on the way. So if you've got any comments, stick them in the comments below just to help us and other people to see how we can stay safe and cool in this hot temperatures. So the first thing when we've arrived is thinking about where we've parked the van. We've chosen to go under a tree and we've parked it on the side where the tree will put us in shade for most of the afternoon. And we've got the door opening where we know that the shade will be at the front of the van where the door is. So we'll be in shade for all of the afternoon, and we will get the awning out as well. And we've made sure that there's trees behind us. So hopefully that will keep the van a little bit cooler.
We firmly believe in the power of external thermal blinds, and we try to put it on the van as soon as we possibly can. It makes a tangible difference when you're inside straight away. It does make the inside dark, but it does keep it cool. And another top tip that we nicked from someone else is hidden in here. If you just crack your windscreens a bit like you would in the winter to try and allow condensation out, this just allows a little bit more ventilation in, because ventilation is key.
The next job was putting the roof up, and we've got two air vents at the top which hopefully will let a bit of air flow through, and by putting the roof up it actually lets all the hot air rise, so it's a bit warmer up there than in the van.
You are going to have to excuse the state of Nelson. We have been on the road for 6 weeks and it seems that half the Sahara has dumped itself down on him. One of the best things that we have for controlling the heat is this little add-on that we bought years ago from CSI Parts. They are, you can find them on Facebook. It's not sponsored in any way, but this has been an absolute saviour over the course of the last few nights. And it's just a retrofit blind that fits in there. In a minute I'll seal the window up, so it's absolutely secure. It's got a bug vent on it, it's got a security vent on it, and it means you can leave your windows open all the time. Actually, we should probably travel with these because it allows a little bit more airflow when you're traveling as well, but it's ideal when you're on the campsite. So it might not be secure now, but when we shut the window, it locks in on the mechanism and there is no way of getting into the van.
As well as the thermal screen that we've got on the front window, we have got these van shades that are thermal blinds on all of the other windows. They are great, particularly if you put them down the side that the sun is beating down, so it stops you getting that heat coming in. One of the problems though is that you can't sleep with the shades down if you want the airflow from the vents, so we do have to sleep with them probably about halfway up, which does mean that we don't get the privacy, but we do get the breeze.
There are so many positives about staying on a campsite, particularly in the super hot weather, but one of the main reasons is guaranteed electric hookup, and one of the main reasons for that is
that we can keep this fridge nice and cold. When we're not on electric hookup, the fridge does really struggle. With hookup, we can put it on to, we still only put it on number 2 because it freezes everything, but we put it on number 2, it keeps everything cold, and we do fill the fridge door with lots of bottles of cold water so that we can constantly be drinking nice cold water and keep ourselves hydrated. Regular viewers on the channel will know that I love my bed, but wow, it has been bloomin' hot on this trip. When we travel in the summer, we travel with a duvet, but we also bring a sheet with us, and the sheet has been fantastic over the last few nights. In fact, we've probably not even just used the sheet, it's been that hot.
Because of the high temperatures, we've had to rethink some of our plans about where we stay. So last weekend we stayed in the city of Pamplona, and it was just so fearsomely hot. There was nowhere to get away from the heat, and the heat was just coming off the concrete. So we've tried to think about going to cooler places. Ironically, in the mountains, it's just as hot, but perhaps if we'd have had our time again, we'd have gone to the coast to try and pick up a coastal breeze, which might have dropped the temperature a little bit.
We did think coming to the mountains would be cooler, and actually it is at night, and that's the hardest thing for us, is trying to get to sleep when it's so hot. So hopefully we've come even higher up into the Pyrenees tonight, so hopefully the temperature will be a little bit cooler again.
We've definitely tried to stay on campsites because airs and free park-ups do have their challenges in these hot temperatures.
For the last couple of days, we've stayed at a campsite that's got a pool, which has been fantastic. We can just go and cool off as much as we want. The campsite that we've moved to today is higher up in the mountains. It hasn't got a pool, but there is a stream that runs right next to the campsite and you can go swimming in there. Apparently it's really cold, but maybe this is the trip that the coldness won't bother us.
And obviously one of the other advantages on a campsite is that you can spread out. You can put your awning up, you can dump your kit, so you've got a little bit more space in the van, and it just feels a little bit more comfortable in the hot temperatures. So our last few tips for staying cool in these unfeasibly hot conditions, and they're not exactly rocket science, and we're not trying to teach grandma to suck eggs, but they are just some things that we've learnt along the way. First of all, I couldn't work out why the hot European countries have a siesta. I can now, and I love nothing better than just slowing down in the heat of the day, in the middle of the day, and just taking it easy. Yesterday we went out for a walk, but we were back by 2 o'clock. To be honest, that was an hour too late, but we got back, we went by the pool, and we just took it easy for the next few hours.
Just sat in the shade. And talking about shade, something that we have found ourselves having to do is just move with the shade constantly. So at the moment, the tree and the back of the van are giving us some shade because it's still sort of late morning. But by the afternoon, we've got the awning up and the van should give us shade that side.
Another top tip is to make sure that you've got insulated water bottles. They have been an absolute godsend on this trip because you can take your cold water from the fridge, pop it into your insulated water bottle, and it just stays cold seemingly forever. And an ice cold drink on a hot walk is absolutely what you need.
A couple of things that with hindsight we would have brought with us. We have got a little USB driven fan that we can have in the van at night. We couldn't find it before we left. We think it's in the lockup. We are definitely regretting not bringing that. And an idea that if I had time I would have ordered off Amazon if they do them in the UK. When we used to go to Florida with the kids, you could buy a fan that had a container of really cold water and you spray the water and the cold mist just blows into your face. I think if I could have found one of them on Amazon, that would have been a definite winner.
I'm just sat here now thinking how luxurious a fan or a fan with water would absolutely be right now.
Something we always take with us anyway, but we have absolutely needed on this trip is really high factor sun lotion. I always have factor 30 or 50 on my face and we never go below factor 30 and make sure we put it on at least 2 or 3 times a day. Even in the shade, I can feel that we sometimes are catching the sun a little bit.
And we use a brand that we really like, so we just use Boots' own brand and we bring loads of it with us because when you're swapping and changing the suntan lotions when you're abroad, sometimes they don't have the same coverage, so we know what we like and that's what we use. So that's it. We've by no means got it sussed, but we were sitting down last night and we thought it would be a really useful video for everyone out there just to sort of see our own suffering, and we don't expect people to feel too sorry for us because it is wonderful. It's really nice to know that you're going to wake up to warm temperatures, but a little bit of forethought just makes life so much easier day to day.
So yeah, with hindsight there are a few things that we definitely would have made sure we'd got with us on this trip, and if you're planning a summer holidays travel trip to a hot country, you've still got time to get some things ordered. So that is it from us. We have by no means got it sussed. If you have anything that you do that helps you keep cool in the van and you think we're missing a trick, please tell us in the comments so we can get that sorted. And if you've got any other things you want to put in the comments, stick them down and we'll reply to them.
So that's it from us. We will catch you next video. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.